Hello, and thank you for watching this exciting seminar on video. My name is Michael Jeffries, and I'll begin by telling you a little bit about my background. Actually, business has always been in my blood. At the age of 6, I started my first venture selling garden seeds and greeting cards door to door. At the age of 10, my interest in business was further sparked literally when I operated a small business out of my school locker selling firecrackers to other 5th graders. At 11, I began singing professionally, wound up doing dozens of national television and radio commercials, including Meow Mix, Pepsi, Fritos, Cheerios, Burger King, a bunch of others. Made quite a bit of money as a kid doing that, which enabled me to pay for private high school in New York City, my university education at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and after graduating, I started a business back in the late 1980s. It has become very successful, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go on. Now, before I get started, I'd like to get your permission to speak rather quickly. I'd like to move at a good clip, and the reason I do that is this. Do you know that the average rate of speech for most people is about 150 words a minute? However, every one of us have the ability to easily listen at about 400 words a minute. Now, if I'm up here speaking at 150 words a minute, but you're listening at 400 words a minute, what starts to happen? Your mind drifts, you daydream, you think of other things. My job is to keep your attention right here the whole time, and if I can fill up the entire 400 words a minute, your brain just won't have anywhere else to go. The other good thing is this. I can actually cover twice as much information in half the amount of time, which is good time management. And heck, even if you only catch half of what I say, we're still even. All right, well, you'll get used to me. Let me take you back. 25 years ago, I had recently graduated the University of Michigan, moved into a little apartment by myself, and I've always had cats growing up. I figured, let me get some kittens to keep me company in the new apartment. So I opened up the Ann Arbor News classified ads. Of course, there's a couple of ads in there for free kittens. I respond to one of them. The guy said, sure, come on over. We got 4 left. I show up at the Powers family home and met Darren and his wife Marilyn and their 2 daughters and picked out a couple of beautiful kittens. And Darren and I started talking. He started asking questions. He had a little home office that we were sitting in. And I noticed off to my left he had some bookshelves. And the middle bookshelf caught my attention because it was loaded from side to side with, well, I didn't know what they were. They weren't books. I said, Darren, what are all those things on your bookshelf? Those are personal and professional development audio learning programs. I said, what's that? Oh, they feature best-selling authors and speakers and experts, and they share ideas on how to grow your business, how to sell more effectively, how to be a more effective leader, how to be a better communicator, how to manage your time, how to be more motivated, and a whole lot more. I said, wow, I never heard of anything like that. I mean, here I was, a University of Michigan graduate, having spent well over $50,000 on my education. I was never exposed to anything like that. I said, Darren, it sounds really interesting. Tell me more about it. He said, look, rather than me tell you about it, let me loan you one of the programs. And he pulls a program off the shelf and hands it to me. It's called How to Outperform Yourself Totally by Mark Victor Hansen, who later became the co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Well, I got to tell you what, I listened to that program. I got so inspired, motivated. I felt a larger vision for my life. He talked about goal setting. He talked about creating a larger vision, how you could do more than you originally thought possible. He talked about the process of visualization and a whole lot more. I was very inspired by the program. I listened to it 3 times in full that week, went back to see Darren the following weekend, returned the program to him. I said, Darren, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Could I borrow another one? Absolutely. And he gives me Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins. Wow, that was another really powerful program. A week after that, I go see him again. He loans me Zig Ziglar's program. Wow, that guy was really motivational. A week after that, it was Dennis Waitley. A week after that, it was New York Times bestselling author Brian Tracy. And over the course of several months, I wound up borrowing every single audio program the man had. I was like a human sponge for this information. And I have to tell you, I definitely felt a transformation within me. I felt as I learned all this information, I could do more. I could be more. I could live a better life. Now, of course, I got to know Darren. I'd go see the guy every week borrowing these audio programs. And when I heard that Zig Ziglar was coming to our city to speak live, I said, Darren, come on, we got to go see Zig, and we would go. I heard that Tony Robbins was coming to our town. Come on, let's go see Tony Robbins live, and we would go. And as I would sit in the audience in these big seminars, 2 things would go through my mind. Number one, I love this whole idea of inspiring people, motivating people, helping them to get to their next level. Somehow I've got to get into this industry. The other thing I thought to myself, if I was in charge of the big seminar, I would produce them a little bit differently. So I decided to put together a little survey to see if other people felt as I did, and indeed they did. So at that point in 1988, I sat down and created a program, an idea. I actually committed my entire career to creating a company that would give people everything they wanted in seminars, cut out the stuff they didn't want. It has become very successful, and I'll tell you a little bit about that at the tail end of the seminar. But back to Darren Powers, the guy who loaned me all these audio programs. So one day I'm back at Darren's house, and I had already listened to every one of his audio programs, and I thought, you know what, let me borrow one of his books. He had a whole bookshelf at the top shelf. I said, Darren, can I borrow a good book? He said, absolutely. He didn't even think twice. He knew exactly what book he was going to give me. He goes to the top shelf, pulls it off, and hands it to me. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you're not familiar with it, it was written in the late 1930s. This guy, Napoleon Hill, was hired by Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in the world at the time, to study, get this, 500 of the world's most successful men and women, and to research them and interview them and figure out how did they become so successful? How did they make so much money? How did, in many cases, how did they go from rags to riches? And the kind of people that I'm talking about, he interviewed Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, people of that caliber and many more. And he didn't just spend a few years doing this. The man spent 25 years of his life studying, researching, and interviewing these people in order to write this book called Think and Grow Rich that has become an international bestseller. Now, as I was reading the book, there was a couple of chapters in there that really intrigued me, talking about the power of the mind, the sixth sense, if you will, this creative intelligence. It talked about the ability to literally attract into our lives people, money, circumstances, good luck, and all kinds of things by using the power of the mind and the power of thought. And I thought to myself after reading it, my goodness, if what they're talking about in this book is really true, wow, this would have tremendously powerful implications of what we could do with our lives. We could make more money, have better health, and much better relationships. We could do all kinds of great things. And then, well, I never did anything with it. Maybe you've read something powerful in the past and you never did anything with it. Well, that's what happened to me. Until about 17 years went by, and all of a sudden there was a resurgence of similar ideas in the media and in the marketplace. When somebody gave me a movie, a video, they said, you're going to love this, you got to watch it. It was called The Secret. And if you're not familiar with it, it was this movie put together featuring all these, there were best-selling authors and physicists and scientists and doctors and all these people that were putting their reputations on the line, swearing by this principle that they called the law of attraction, which was really similar stuff from the book Think and Grow Rich, about how we could use the power of the mind to attract things into our life using thought and the power of the mind. And I thought the movie was very well done and well put together, and it got me inspired again to think about these things. A week after that, a friend of mine calls me up and says, oh, they're going to be interviewing the people from the movie The Secret on Oprah, and I caught that. A week after that, a different friend calls up and says, oh, they're going to be interviewing those people from the movie The Secret on Larry King Live, and I caught that. A week after that, I am listening to New York Times bestselling author Brian Tracy on his audio CD, and he's talking about the law of attraction. A week after that, I'm at my dentist getting ready for a teeth cleaning, and he's got a gift for me at the front counter because he knows that I'm into personal and professional development, and it's a book called The Law of Attraction, and all of a sudden there was just a whole lot of traction about this law of attraction in my life. And as there was, I began to restudy what I had studied many years earlier when I read Think and Grow Rich. And what I'd like to do right now, I'd like to share with you what is my interpretation, what is my understanding of this whole thing that we call the law of attraction. So let me begin by defining what is the law of attraction? Well, the law of attraction, it's a physical and a spiritual law of the universe. It is a law that nobody can control. It's like gravity. Can you control gravity? I mean, nobody can. It doesn't matter if you forgot about gravity, if you don't believe in gravity. Gravity works on you with your belief or without. It's part of being on this planet. Well, the law of attraction is the same thing. It doesn't care if you believe in it or not. It's working on you day or night, and here's what the law states. It states that every one of us, we are all human magnets, and we literally attract into our lives about 90% of everything that happens. I've got to reserve 10% for natural disasters and freak accidents and things like that. But when I say almost everything, when I say 90%, I am talking about the most in-love relationship you've ever had in your life to the devastating divorce that you've gone through. To the business is booming, I'm on fire, I'm making more money than ever, my business is growing, I'm getting referrals like crazy. To the, I am having such a tough time, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to stay in business. To the, I lost 20 pounds, I feel younger than ever, I've got more energy than ever, I feel terrific. To the, my back has been killing me for 2 years. All of that stuff and a whole lot more. It's not just good luck and bad luck. It's not coincidence and happenstance. We literally attract this stuff into our lives, and the way we do the attracting primarily is by the thinking. It's the thoughts that we're sending out mixed with the emotion that those thoughts churn up. Because every time you think a thought, there's an emotion tied to it. So if you're thinking, I'm pumped up, I'm fired up, I got all this business coming in, you tend to feel good, and you start to literally, you might have heard the expression before, you ever hear the expression, I feel good vibes around that person, I feel bad vibes around that person. We as human beings literally start to send off vibrations every time we think a thought. And before you start looking at me funny, let me get to the science behind it right now. Science has absolutely proven beyond any shadow of any doubt that thoughts are very real things. Do you realize every single time you think a thought, you are literally sending off an electromagnetic impulse off of your brain, a brainwave, a thought wave, whatever you want to call it. This is not up for dispute. You ask any medical doctor, any physicist, any scientist, they'll tell you, yes, it is an absolute fact that every single time a human being thinks a thought, they are emitting an electromagnetic frequency off of their brain. In fact, it's very measurable. If we had the right equipment right now, I could show you. We could connect it to my head, and just by connecting it to a computer with the right software, we could display on a TV monitor, you could literally see the frequency of my thoughts or your thoughts if you were connected up to this device. And what's really interesting is that every thought that we have shows a unique frequency. So for example, if you're focusing on a color green, really thinking about a certain color green, that'll have a certain frequency to it. If you shift the thought and start thinking about a certain color red, the frequency will totally change. In fact, get this, Toyota has developed a wheelchair that is 100% controlled by the power of thought, and it is over 95% accurate right now. So a quadriplegic can literally sit in this chair, after they've programmed that person's thoughts in, can then sit there with this little cap on their head, and just by thinking, turn right, the wheelchair responds. Move forward, it responds, and so on, just by thinking the thought. You might have seen some of the devices in the tech news. Similar, they have a helmet with a whole bunch of suction cup-looking things that touches the person's head, 1,000 wires coming out of it, connected to a computer, and just by thinking, the person can control the basic controls of the computer. Open window, close window, scroll down, next page, open program, etc., just by thinking the thought. So understand it and understand it well. Thoughts are very real things. They are, in essence, impulses of communication that we all send out. Now, from what we understand, these thought waves or brain waves, they travel instantaneously at the speed of light, or some physicists say even faster. They go all around the globe. And what these impulses of energy that we're sending out, what they're looking to do, they're looking to find other things on the planet that are vibrating at a similar frequency, because everything is vibrating. If you take a physics course, you can understand a little bit more about that. But everything is vibrating, and these thought waves, like I said, they all have a unique vibrational frequency. Well, they go out there looking to find things that they have a similar vibrational match. And when they find what we call a vibrational match through only the higher power knows how, we wind up attracting into our life people, circumstances, good luck, could be bad luck, but things that match the nature of the thoughts that we've been sending out there. Let me give you an analogy so you can really understand what I'm talking about here. You might know what a tuning fork is. It's a Y-shaped piece of metal. It comes in all the different keys, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. A piano tuner uses it to perfectly tune a piano. Well, let's say we had a little set of tuning forks right here on a stand, a C and an F and a G tuning fork. And right here I had another identical stand set up also with a C and an F and a G tuning fork. And I were to strike the G tuning fork. Well, we all know the G I just struck would ring and chime perfectly in the key of G. Meanwhile, you know what would happen over here? Well, if you guessed that this piece of metal over here would start ringing, you're absolutely right. It is called harmonic resonance or sympathetic resonance. It is one of the laws of the planet that we live on. Now, let's take a look at what happened. We struck a piece of metal that was tuned to the exact frequency of G. It sent off an invisible sound wave. It crossed space. You could not see it. And it activated another piece of metal that was tuned to the exact same frequency, and it made that piece of metal ring, chime, and vibrate and make sound because it, too, was tuned to the exact key of G. Isn't that a little bit hocus pocus right there? By the way, when I struck the F, what happened to the G? Nothing. When I struck the C, what happened to the F? Nothing. But when you strike the C, the other C rings. When you strike the other F rings. When the frequencies match, they activate each other every single time. Now we take that into the law of attraction. It's the same thing. When you're sending out these brainwaves or thought waves, which all have a unique vibrational frequency, science has proven this, these thought waves or brainwaves, like the tuning fork, they're looking to go out there and find things that they find a vibrational match. And when they find a vibrational match through, as I said, only the higher power knows how, we wind up attracting things that show up looking like coincidences, but they match the nature of the thoughts that we've been sending out there. So let me kind of recap what I've stated so far. We're all human magnets. We're all sending off electromagnetic energy as part of being a human being. These thought waves or brainwaves travel instantaneously at the speed of light or faster. They go all around the globe through walls and buildings. And what they look to do, like the tuning fork, they look to find other things that are vibrating at a similar frequency. And when they find a vibrational match through only the higher power knows how, we wind up attracting people, good luck, bad luck, circumstances, things that match the nature of the thoughts that we've been sending out there. And so if you're thinking, I'm all pumped up, I'm positive, I'm feeling really good, you wind up having more good things happen to you. But if you're thinking, I'm bummed out, I'm dead, I'm really worried about things, you wind up attracting more of that. Are we all clear on what I've stated so far? Now, when I had somebody explain this to me in a similar way to the way I've just explained it to you, this was a number of years ago, I got to tell you something. I looked at that guy, I said, come on, man, you got to be kidding me. You're telling me that we just think these positive thoughts and like more money shows up and more love in my life, a new car in the driveway. Come on, man, what have you been smoking? You need to get more grounded. And my last words to the guy were, nice idea, but you know what? It just sounds ridiculous. I got to get going, and I left. As I was driving home that day, my own words kept ringing through my mind. That's ridiculous, that's ridiculous, that's ridiculous. And I started to kind of rethink my own thinking. I've always been a very open-minded person, and I started to think back on the book Think and Grow Rich, and I thought, wow, in that book there were some really powerful famous people that were really rich, and they were swearing by the similar principle. I thought about the movie The Secret. Wow, and there was a lot of doctors and scientists and physicists, all reputable, swearing by the similar principle. I thought about the book Law of Attraction that I had read that made a lot of sense about it. I thought about Oprah and Larry King. I mean, would they waste their airtime if there was nothing to it whatsoever? And I thought about New York Times bestselling author Brian Tracy talking about like it's the way the world works. I thought, I know it sounds kind of mystical and kind of crazy and kind of far out there, but maybe, just maybe, there is something to all this. And at that moment, being a very open-minded person, I decided to myself, I said, you know what? If there is something to all this, I'm going to put it to the test to see if it's real. So a number of years ago, I literally set out to test the law of attraction. And let me tell you about some of the things that happened. Now, one of the early tests. One of my businesses is seminars on DVD, and we sell training videos all over the world. We get orders all day on the phone and on the internet, and I have a wonderful gal, Diane, that ships them out every day. However, she needs to leave the office every day by 2 p.m. because she has a special needs daughter, and a number of years ago, before we had other staff members, if an order came in between 2 in the afternoon and 5 p.m. during regular business hours, I was the one to fulfill those orders. Well, that's what happened this one day. I'm at my home, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, and an overnight express order comes in. I quickly go to the bookshelf. It was a nice size order, 12 different videos. I grab the 12 videos, I put them into a box, I put the stuffing paper around it, seal the box up. I jump on the UPS.com website, print out a prepaid label, stick it on the box. Now I'm looking at this box thinking there's no way this is going to fit in the drop box that's near our house. I'm going to have to drive this one down to UPS, and we live about 30 minutes away. So I'm thinking 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. Oh, it's almost 5 o'clock. Add 15 minutes for rush hour, plus my 8-year-old son, Camilo, was home with me. My wife was at the supermarket. I couldn't leave him home alone. So I thought to myself, you know what? This is a great opportunity to test the law of attraction because I knew I had just printed a prepaid UPS label. I mean, I know it's late in the day. It was almost 5. But if I could attract a UPS truck and driver, well, I could hand them the box because they'll take any prepaid label. So I grabbed my 8-year-old son, Camilo. I'm like, come on, buddy, I need you to come with me. We're going to go run a quick little errand, but I want you to do a little thinking game with me on the way. He's like, looks at me kind of funny. What do you mean a thinking game, Dad? I'm like, yeah, we're going to think of something and try and make it show up. He's like, well, what are we going to think about? I said, we're going to think about the UPS truck. He's like, Daddy, that's the one that brought my skateboard last week, isn't it? I said, yeah, that's the one. So we're driving out of the subdivision. I started asking him questions. What color is it? He's like, it's brown. Is it a big truck or a small truck? It's kind of a big to medium truck. Is it more boxy or more rounded? What's more boxy? What color is the lettering on the outside? He said, it's kind of gold. I said, well, what do the people wear who are driving it? They wear kind of a brown uniform. Anyway, we're going through these questions. We come out of the subdivision. We're just about to turn right on the main street to begin our journey down toward UPS. And right before the traffic light, my son says to me, Daddy, I'm really hungry. Can we just get some food from Burger King and I'll eat it in the car on the way down there? I look at my watch. It's 5 after 5. I think, all right, they don't close till 6. We have enough time to do that, but we got to make it quick. So instead of making a right turn, I make a left turn because Burger King is 3 buildings down to the left. We pull into Burger King where there are 2 UPS trucks parked in the lot. I said, Camilo, how'd you know they were going to be here? He's like, I don't know, Daddy. I'm just hungry. And he didn't know. We look inside. What are the 2 guys doing in there? They're eating. They're drinking coffee. I'm going to walk in there like an idiot. Hey, pal, break's over. Take my box. I didn't want to bother these guys during the break. So I'm asking my son, honey, can you see in there? Are they just getting finished? Are they just getting started? And I swear on my life, within 8 seconds of thinking that thought, a 3rd UPS truck entered the parking lot. I said, oh my God, they're coming out of everywhere. I flagged the guy to stop. He pulls over to me. He's like, what do you need? I'm like, I got an overnight express. It's got to go out today. He's like, no problem. We're having a break here in about 15 minutes. We're all headed down to UPS. I'll be happy to take the box for you. He took the box, mission accomplished. And I said, wow, what a coincidence. That's the word I use. What a coincidence. And then I remembered, you know what? Everybody who taught me about the law of attraction, they said that everything that shows up is going to show up looking like a coincidence. I was not a believer yet. I continued testing. Now, I do sales and motivational training internationally. One of my favorite places to do training is in Cancun, Mexico. And I get hired by a company called Royal Resorts down there. They've got several properties, about 100 salespeople. And here's how it works. I get to bring my wife and 2 boys with me. They put our family of 4 in a 2-bedroom condo overlooking the ocean for 7 nights. During that week, my job is to deliver 2 90-minute seminars that go from 7:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning, 2 different mornings. And the rest of the week, I'm free to do whatever I want. I love that job. So we're down there. It's our 4th day there, one of my many days off. We woke up kind of late, a little after 9 o'clock in the morning. I look outside. I'm shocked. It's raining, storming. The wind is blowing. It looks like a hurricane out there. I call the front desk. Hey, what's going on with the weather today? They said, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be kind of cloudy and windy and rainy all day. I said to my wife, honey, what do you want to do today? It's supposed to be raining and cloudy and windy all day. What are we going to do? She said, look, we've been running around every other day. Why don't we just have one day in the condo? It's such a beautiful condo. We'll get room service, pay-per-view movies. You can sit on the balcony, watch it rain. You catch up on the book you wanted to read. I said, that sounds good to me. I said to my wife, though, if we're going to hang out in the condo, I really don't want the housekeeper coming in here to clean. I mean, she cleaned yesterday. She'll clean tomorrow. The place is perfectly clean. We don't need her fussing in here if we're going to hang around all day. My wife said, well, that's fine, but we really do need new towels. I said, well, fine. Let me call housekeeping. And I thought, wait a minute. You ever try calling housekeeping in Mexico? You never know what's going to happen. I thought, you know what, let me just go find the housekeeper, give her a tip, tell her don't clean, and, get some towels. We'll be done with the whole thing. My wife says, well, how are you going to find her now? Every day she cleans has been between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I've never even seen her in the morning. How are you going to find her now? I said, well, I'm going to use the law of attraction I've been practicing. I'll go in the hallway and get a feeling. I mean, we were on level 2. She's probably up on 3 or down on 1. She can't be that far away. I mean, nobody in Mexico works a half a day. She got to be somewhere. So about 5 minutes later, I grab a few bucks to give her a tip. I whip the door open to the hallway, and I am startled and shocked because the woman is standing at our door. Now, the poor lady, I mean, I was moving pretty quick. I whipped that door, but she was about to knock on the door. Before she could even get her first knock on it, the door whips open in front of her. I see the lady jump like that, but way better than the look on her face was the look on my 10-year-old son's face, who heard me say minutes earlier, I'm going to use the law of attraction to attract the housekeeper. When my son saw her there, he's like, Daddy, it does work, it does work. I said, it seems to be working so far. Now, no, she didn't have towels under her arms, and I'm not here to say she just appeared like a dream and genie. What I'm here to say is that somehow minutes earlier, when I was thinking the housekeeper, maybe somehow those thoughts went out there and connected with her. Look, we had already been there 4 days. She never came any other day in the morning to check on us for anything. We were there almost every morning. What drew her there that day at that time? Was it coincidence? Maybe it was the law of attraction. I continued testing. And I did such a good job for them. They said, Michael, we got to have you back as soon as possible. We have another team of salespeople in Playa del Carmen, not very far away. I would love to get them into on the same training. When can you come back? I said, well, I'm not coming back without my kids. They have way too much fun here. Next time they're on break, well, that would be President's Day week in February. He's like, President's Day week? That's one of our busiest weeks of the year. I don't know if we can accommodate you. I said, well, just let me know. They email me a week later. One of the owners is not using their unit. You can have the owner's unit for the week. It's a gorgeous condo. Book your flight. Come on down. So we do. Now, if you've ever been to Cancun President's Day week, it is jam-packed. All the good hotels are sold out. All the good restaurants are jam-packed. You literally, if you want to eat in a particular restaurant, you better make reservations the week before you get down there. Well, we make the mistake of going out to dinner at 7:30 primetime p.m. with no restaurant reservation, and we like to go to nice places. So we're driving our rental car around looking for a place to go. My wife had been flipping through the magazine looking at the different ads. She sees up ahead the Marriott. She's looking in the magazine at the Marriott, and there it is, a picture of a Japanese steakhouse where they cook the whole food and they do the flaming show at your table. She said, let's go to the Japanese steakhouse. The kids will love it. They'll be fun. Let's go there. I said, that sounds good to me. Now, if you know Cancun, I mean, the properties are enormous. By the time you drive all the way up there, you park your car, you walk inside, you find the restaurant, you find out there's no table available, you walk back to your car, you drive out of there, you're going to waste at least 15 minutes. I thought on the driveway up there, there's a little security guard booth. I thought, let's stop at security. I'm sure the guy has a phone. They can call up and see if there's room at the restaurant. That's what we do. We stop at security. The guy says, sure, I'll call up there for you. He comes back 20 seconds later. He's like, I called up there. They have no tables available. She said the next reservation for that restaurant would be 4 days from now. I said, all right, thanks anyway. So I turned to my wife. Well, honey, where do you want to go instead? My wife turns and looks at me. She's like, honey, what happened to your law of attraction now? I said, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking about it in this moment, but obviously you were. Do you believe we can get a table tonight? She said, well, I don't know, but I kind of already saw, when I saw the ad, I kind of visualized us at the table there. I was like, look, we're already here anyway. Let's just drive up and check it out. You never know what could happen. Maybe somebody didn't show up for their reservation. Let's just drive up there anyway. Now, if you know the Casa Magna Marriott in Cancun, they have a big semicircle that you drive through, and actually right out front is the steakhouse. You don't even have to go into the hotel. You pass the hotel entrance, and there's an entrance directly into the steakhouse. So I kind of double park the car right in front, leave my wife and kids in the car. I go inside to check it out. It is a mob scene in there. The waiting area is jam-packed with people. The sushi bar and the sushi tables, every one of them packed full. I look into the rooms where they're cooking the steak at the table. Every one of those tables are full. And there's a larger room in the back. It was like a corporate party was going on back there. It was really loud. And there's a couple ahead of me at the hostess stand. And I'm hearing the hostess tell the couple, I am really sorry. We have nothing available tonight. Next reservation available is 4 days from now. At that exact second, a manager comes out from behind a half wall by the hostess, overhears the couple looking for a table. He says to the two of them, "Hey, how you doing? We have a table. We actually have a corporate party going on in the back, and you can hear all the noise coming from back there. Well, they had a few less people show up than they said they were going to have, and there's actually one table they're not using. And if you don't mind all the noise and the commotion, I mean, it's kind of loud back there, but if you don't mind all the noise, you're welcome to have dinner." And the two of them said, "Well, sure," and they got sat. I'm listening to all this like, this is us. This is our table too. Maybe we can get in on that. I asked the hostess. She's like, "You got to talk to that manager." A minute later, he comes back. I say to the guy, "Hey, how you doing? I overheard what you said to the couple that you just sat in that room back there. I got my wife and two boys in the car. There's 4 of us. We would love to have dinner here tonight. Are there 4 seats left at that table?" Real hesitant. The guy's like, "Yeah, there's 4 seats left, but it's an all-adult party. You mentioned you got kids. It's also really loud in there. I'm not sure you're going to enjoy yourself. It may not be appropriate." I'm like, "Come on, man. We're in Cancun. We're here to party. Make it happen. They're not little kids. They're not 3 and 4. They're 8 and 10. Come on, man. We really want to have dinner here tonight." He's like, look, kind of hesitant still, but looking around to see if there's anybody else who needed a reservation. And other than the people who already had reservations, there wasn't. So he finally said, "You know what? That's fine. You can have dinner here tonight." I said, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is so awesome. My wife's going to be so happy. Look, my car is sitting right outside the window here. Where do I park? Where's the guest parking lot?" He looks out there. He's like, "You're not blocking the driveway, are you?" I'm like, "No, I'm off to the side." He's like, "You know what? You're only going to be here 2 hours. Leave it right there. I'll keep an eye on it for you." I'm like, "Even better yet." So I go outside, get my family, bring them inside. We are sat in the middle of this crazy corporate party. This was 75 financial services salespeople that all got flown to Mexico. This was their big night out to party. The company was picking up the tab for the whole thing. Well, let me tell you what. In the first 5 minutes, my boys learned several new words. They also learned what a sake bomb is. If you don't know what a sake bomb is, picture a glass of beer with 2 chopsticks balanced on top. On the 2 chopsticks, they put a cup of hot sake wine. Everyone's got one in front of them at the table. They all start to bang on the table. Bang, 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 bang. Then they go 1, 2, 3. They smack the glass. The chopsticks fall off the side. The hot sake wine falls into the cold beer. They slam the whole thing all at once, slam the glass back down, make a face kind of like this. Maybe you've done one of those. And meanwhile, my 2 boys are like, "Daddy, I want one of those." I said, "Well, honey, wait till you get a little bit older. Or maybe we can do one with Coke and 7-Up. Anyway, they take our drink order. 5 minutes goes by. 10 minutes goes by. Nearly a half an hour went by. Nobody came back to take the food order. It was taking way longer than usual. But I'll tell you what, we were not in like a huge hurry. We weren't like starving. We were grateful to have a table on a night where they said you couldn't even get in. Meanwhile, remember the other couple that got sat right before us? Maybe they didn't like the noise. It was loud in there. Maybe they were frustrated at how long it took to place the order. Meanwhile, they stood up and left. They were now gone. So now it was literally just me and my family in the middle of this crazy corporate party. We had the most memorable, fabulous meal of the whole week. The food was great. The show was great. Partying with all these people was great. And at the end of the meal, you know how the tables kind of face each other? Well, one of the guys across the way from me, he looks over. He says, "Hey, pal, I got to apologize, man. I got kids your kids' age. I just hope you guys had a really good time because we picked up the tab for all 4 of you." I said, "Oh, my God. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And at that moment, I turned to my wife. I said, "Honey, I am done testing. The law of attraction works for us every single time. We've stated an intention. We believed it was going to happen. We took action. Amazing things have happened. And if I had more time, I could tell you dozens more stories during the testing period. And if I had a lot more time, I could tell you thousands of stories beyond that point because I use the law of attraction every day. I'm always tuned into it. I'm conscious of it. And I'm here today to say that you can use the same law. I don't have some good luck gene or some special ability. You have the same ability that I do. But I'll tell you something else. It is not enough to just know about the law of attraction. A lot of people know about the law of attraction, but they are still living lives of mediocrity. If you want to take your life to the next level, you need to do what I call activate the law of attraction. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to give you 5 very specific action strategies. What can you do to take your life to the next level? So let's talk about action strategy number 1. What are the last 6 letters of the word attraction? It's action, A-C-T-I-O-N, action. You've got to take action. I don't think enough of the books and teachings on the law of attraction put enough emphasis on taking action. And the kind of action that I'm talking about specifically is acting upon your inspired thoughts. We all get inspired all day long. You get ideas. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should call that old friend. Maybe I should call that client. Maybe I should. You get a maybe I should, and it's something positive. Your job is to take immediate, definitive action and respond to that thought. We get these ideas. Most people, they get so many good ideas. They get inspirational thought, but they don't act on it. We say things like, well, maybe later. I'll get to it later. Maybe I'll give that, my brother-in-law, I thought of him. I haven't talked to him in years, but maybe I should give him a call. And you don't do it. You're missing it right there. So when you get a thought, maybe I should, your job is to take action. Immediate definitive action. If you can do it right that second, you just watch some of the amazing things that will come your way. So start listening to your inner voice. When you get ideas, when you get good ideas, you've got to be taking action on them immediately because they will bring things to you that you never even dreamed possible. But you've got to be tuned in to your inner voice. Now, action step number 2, we're going to call clarity. You've got to know what you want crystal clear. Most people don't know exactly what they want. For example, if I said, do you want more money? I'm sure your hand would go up and say, sure. However, if I were to give you $1 right now, guess what? You'd have more money. Is that what you meant? No, well, you said more money, $1 more money. You get the point? You can't just say more money. So instead, you might say something like, I am now earning $1,000 a month above what I earned last month, and it's going up from here. See, that's a kind of goal you can't mix up with anything. You're comparing it to last month. You're stating, I am now earning. Not I'd like to, I'd wish to, I'd hope to, but I am now earning. You have an amount of money. You're comparing it to last month, and it's going up from here. You're future projecting in a positive way as well. So that is a really good, clear goal. You have a goal of doing more exercise? I hear a lot of people want to do more exercise. Well, hey, are you going to walk to your car and back today or walk up a flight of steps? I mean, maybe that's all you need to do. Well, that is exercise, isn't it? Yeah, but that's not what I meant. Well, then instead of just saying I want to do more exercise, the goal needs to sound more like this. I do 20 minutes of cardiovascular exercise on my treadmill every other day on an ongoing regular basis. You can't mix that up with anything. You better make sure your goals are crystal clear, extremely well defined, because I'm going to tell you something. If you don't know exactly what you want, any road will take you there. And that's scary. I know a lot of people who are lost on back roads looking for the superhighway, and they just can't find it. So you've got to get very, very clear on what you want. In the book Think and Grow Rich, it talked about this. It said you must have definiteness of purpose, and it is a critical principle here for achieving great success in your life. So get clear on what you want, and that brings us to action step number 3, which I know you've heard before. You've got to write your goals down. I know you've heard that. You got to write them down. Everyone's heard that. And you know, I survey a lot of people. I ask them, have you written your goals down? And most people say, well, no, I haven't. I haven't done it in quite a while. And I ask people all the time, well, how come you haven't written your goals? What do you think the number one answer I get from people is why they haven't written their goals? Time. I'm too busy. I haven't gotten to it yet. That's the number one answer. And I also follow it up by asking people, well, would you readily admit that you waste 30 minutes a day? Yeah, everyone admits they waste 30 minutes a day. So don't tell me you don't have time to write your goals. Tell me you're too lazy. Tell me you got them all in your mind. If you think that's good enough, they're up there, but it's not. But don't tell me you don't have time. The truth of the matter is, writing down your goals takes about 15 minutes once. And if you just discipline yourself to do it, amazing things will come your way. Well, let's talk about why. Why do you have to write them down? What's the old saying? Out of sight, out of mind. What does the whole law of attraction teach? What's in your mind, what you're thinking about and focusing on and sending out vibration about, you wind up attracting. If you're not thinking about your goals all day long, if you're not thinking about them often, they may not become a burning desire and you may not start attracting them, if ever. You've got to be thinking about them all the time and all the time. And people who say that they've got their goals in their mind, that is not enough. Because we're so busy, you couldn't possibly think of those goals enough throughout the day. You've got so much other things going on, you need to think about the goals constantly. So you must keep them, what I say is in sight and in mind. So let me give you a strategy on how to do that. Get yourself a 3x5 card or something similar. At the top of the card, we're going to write the words Secret 7. And on this card, you're going to write your 7 most important goals, one on each line. I am now earning X number of dollars a month above what I earned last month, and it's going up from here. I exercise, da-da-da-da. My relationship, da-da-da. A health, a relationship goal. Big goals, goals that are important to you. And at the top, you write the word Secret 7. Now, why do we say Secret 7? Well, you don't want to share the goals with too many people. You start sharing those goals around with everybody, you're going to hear all kinds of people. They'll read them and be like, oh, let me see, number 2, exercise every other day for 20 minutes a day? Come on, you haven't done a day exercise in your life. You're not going to do that. They're going to tell you why you can't be it, why you can't do it, why you can't have it. People are negative, so you got to be careful. You don't want to share your goals with too many people. If you got the kind of friend who says, you know what, if you don't feel like getting on the treadmill, you call me up and I'll convince you to start exercising. I'll be your motivational factor. If you got somebody like that, share the goals with them. But for the most part, be careful about who you share them with. Now, once you've gotten your 3x5 card, your Secret 7 all written down, get yourself 6 more blank 3x5 cards and go ahead and rewrite the list 6 more times. If you're too lazy, go ahead and photocopy it. And then what you want to do, remember the name of the game is in sight and in mind. So you need to strategically place them where you're going to see them throughout the day. So if you don't mind, the people that you share your bathroom with, a great place is right on the mirror in the bathroom. What are you doing? You're brushing your teeth morning and night, two great times during the day. You can review the goals because they're right there on the mirror. How about by the side of the bed? Before going to bed at night, most people are reading, they're watching TV, late night news. They're hearing about all the murders, earthquakes, rapes, terrorism happening all over the world. Is that what you want to dream about and attract all night? Instead, before going to bed, think about your goals. What's important to you? Drift off going to sleep, dreaming about your dream and your vision and your goals. How about first thing in the morning? You wake up, instead of turning on the TV or the radio or doing whatever, review your goals. Think about what you want. It may motivate you to get something going right then and there, like some exercise. Who knows? Put one in your car. Before driving out of your driveway, if you have a car, put one right there by the radio. Maybe you're sitting at a stoplight and review the goals. You might want to keep one by your computer, by the phone, in your pocket, in your purse. The more places you can strategically place it, the more you can force yourself to read those goals throughout the day. They will ultimately become a burning desire. And I'll tell you what, nothing will stop you from achieving those goals as long as you activate action step number 4, which is the power of visualization. Now, you might have heard you got to visualize your goals. You probably heard that, and a lot of people have heard that. And I ask people, are you visualizing? Are you doing your visualization? And most people tell me, well, no, not really. And I ask people, why? Why are you not visualizing your goals? I get a different answer on this one. It's not that people are too busy. I get a lot of people telling me that they just don't know exactly what to do. Well, let me give you a strategy right now that I've been using that works extremely well, and I think it will work for you. First of all, let me just say that visualization is nothing more than simply closing your eyes and using your imagination to see a picture, ideally a moving picture in your mind. It's just using your mind's eye, and I'll tell you what, the more you practice it, the easier it gets to use. So, before you start visualizing or imagining in your mind, you have to prepare the mind. See, the mind is operating at different speeds throughout the day, and when you're wide awake and fully aware of everything, that's called your beta brain state. That's too active. You need to slow the brain down a little bit before you do visualization. You want to get to the alpha brain state. The alpha is when you're awake, but you're not so tuned into every little detail. You're kind of more daydreamy a little bit. Like, for example, have you ever driven somewhere and you got there and you thought, I don't remember driving here, but here I am. That was alpha, all right? So you want to get yourself to the alpha brain state. Now, I found the easiest way to get myself to alpha is just doing some deep breathing. So what I recommend you do, if you want to get into this very easy visualization, get yourself a comfortable chair like this. You could do this in your car, pull into a parking lot if nobody's, a place where nobody's around. If it's a bad neighborhood, be sure to lock the doors. And you just sit there, put your hands on your lap, and you want to just start to take some 10 deep breaths, and with each breath, you want to visualize a number moving at you slowly. So with the first deep breath, I'll visualize the number 10 moving at me from over here real slow. The next deep breath, I see a number 9 moving at me from over here. The next deep breath, a number 8 from over here. Then a 9, a 7, 6, 5, 4, all the way down to 1. Then when there's the 1 in front of me, I then visualize a doorway. It could be any door you want, an arc door, a square door, a big door, a small door, and the doorway should be glowing, and there might be a keypad combination on there or a key only you have the key to, and you open up the door and you step inside what you need to create as your mental workshop. And this can be anywhere you want it to be. It could be up on a mountaintop. It could be in a forest by a stream. It could be in a castle on a throne. It could be on a beach somewhere. Mine happens to be up above the rainforest. When I'm doing that little countdown, I'm actually moving up an elevator, a glass elevator that takes me up over the jungle in the rainforest. And when I get up there, there's like a glass dome about 20 feet across. It's a big glass dome, like a saucer, if you will. And I sit up there and I look out at the trees and the wildlife. And in the middle, there's a nice throw rug with a beautiful reclining chair. And I sit in that chair. And there's 3 controls buttons on the chair. I push one button and a big widescreen movie screen drops down in front of me. I push another button and surround sound speakers come out all around me. I push a third button and the entire dome goes black to the outside, and in the privacy of my own mental workshop on that giant movie screen, one by one I go through all the goals on my Secret 7 card. I visualize them on the movie screen. I'm the star of each movie. I'm in each movie, and I'm visualizing myself in these goals, and here's the key. It is visualizing yourself as if you've already achieved the goal. It's seeing yourself already in that role. More importantly, it's getting the feeling you would have had you already achieved that goal. For example, at the end of an Olympic race in real life, when somebody wins the Olympic gold, what do they often break down and do uncontrollably? They cry. Why? Because the goal was so emotionally moving for them, they couldn't control themselves and they broke down and cried. Let me tell you something. If your goals are not big enough to choke a tear out of your eye, you have settled for mediocrity. You better find some goal that is so big and you think, wait a minute, I didn't think of that yet, but if I could achieve that, my God, you could feel the goosebumps form on your arms. You can almost feel the tears well up. You better find some goal that is that big, because if you don't, you've sold out, you have settled for mediocrity, and that is a very sad place to be. So you've got to get into this visualization. You've got to feel the feeling of the emotion. And what you do is you see in the movie, you feel the emotion, and then you go to the next one, feel as much emotion as you can. And when you're all done with the whole thing, you just simply count yourself back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I snap my fingers. I open my eyes. And I always say to myself, where was I? I feel like I don't remember, like it was in my car. When you're doing the visualization, you should not have any conscious awareness of where you are. You should be away, and then you come back, and then you simply go about your day. And people say, well, that's really nice, but I don't know how I'm going to make all that extra money. I don't know how I'm going to grow my business. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Let me tell you something. The how is none of your business. The how is the law of attraction's business. All right? I didn't know how I was going to do a lot of things. In fact, let me tell you about the how it came to me. I was doing this visualization process, and let me give you a time management tip right now. I found that if you could actually do exercise while you're doing the visualization, what a great way to manage time. So I get myself on my elliptical machine, I close my eyes, and actually I'm going to add a third component to that. Have you ever heard a piece of music, and the music was so emotionally moving that the music actually brought tears to your eyes? Well, what you want to do is find music like that, load it up onto an iPod or similar, get yourself into like an elliptical or a treadmill, you put the music on that really moves you emotionally, get those endorphins flowing, and then do the visualization process that I just shared with you. It will take you to new heights you've never even dreamed of. I was doing that intensely about 2 years ago on a very specific goal. I still do it to this day. In fact, I did it this morning. But 2 years ago, the very specific goal was seeing my training video company, Seminars on DVD, exploding all over the world. And the music that was moving me at the time was George Benson's song On Broadway. You know, dun-dun-dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Well, listen to that song. And if you know that song, it's about a guy who wants to make it on Broadway, and they're telling him, you're not going to make it on Broadway. You're going to be on a Greyhound bus for home, is what they told him. And he said, no, I'm going to make it because I can play this here guitar. And the song is very emotionally moving to me because I'm the one going on Broadway, and it's my business that's growing, and that was my vision. And him talking about, because I can play it, I'm going to make it, and that was my business. And so what I visualized in my little movie was at my office where we have all of our training videos. They're boxes of 100. I visualized guys in UPS uniforms to the beat of the music, handing boxes of 100 videos to the next guy. Dun-dun-dun, dun. Dun, 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 and he's handing boxes, and the next guy's handing boxes to the other guy out the back door, dun, 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 and he's putting them into a UPS truck, and the whole truck is getting filled up to the top, and I see them close the door of the truck, and the truck drives down the road, and when it gets to the horizon where I can barely see it anymore, the UPS truck metaphorically explodes into the air, and the videos rain all over the world. They're falling on every country, all over the place, and I'm watching people getting these training videos, and it's changing their lives, and they're being more motivated, and their lives are being more inspired, and there's more love in their lives, and they're making more money, and they're healthier, and they're having better lives, and the whole world became a better place because of this vision that I had. It was so emotionally moving for me. Tears would stream out of my eyes every single time that I saw this vision. I did it day after day after day after day after day. 6 weeks went by. Out of the blue, I received an email from the country of Dubai from the video department at the duty-free shops in the airport. And these guys said, hey, we found your website. We wanted to know if you sell your training videos wholesale. We've been selling the movie The Secret in the airport and doing quite well. I said, absolutely. To make a long story short, they became a distributor of mine. Well, their first order came in. It was about $3,000. Nice size order. I mean, to that point, the biggest distributor order we had ever had at one time was about $6,000. That was nothing. I don't know the exact dates, but I can certainly tell you the amounts. They started coming in about every 6 weeks on average. The next order after that was $11,000. The one after that was $18,000. Then there was one for $22,000, one for $24,000, one for $33,000, one for $42,000, another for $44,000. The biggest one we had was $53,000. And then just a few months ago, there was one for $38,000 and one a couple of weeks ago for $37,000. And they continue to place orders every 6 to 8 weeks on an ongoing regular basis. It has brought hundreds of thousands of dollars into my world out of the blue. And I'm not telling you this to impress you. I'm telling you to impress upon you the critical importance of visualizing your goals with emotion, getting the feeling of already having it. And when you do that, That's the direct channel to the law of attraction. That is when you're tapped into the highest vibration and you really start to see almost anything come your way. But none of it will happen without action step number 5, which is the power of gratitude. You've got to be grateful for what you have right now. I know a lot of people, they're not that grateful. I heard some guy not too long ago, he was saying something like, I am so sick and tired of living in this little tiny one-bedroom house. We have so much clutter and so much junk in here. This sucks. We got to get out of here. If you're thinking and talking like that, you're probably going to live in that house for the rest of your life. However, if you're more like, thank you, thank you, thank you, I'm so grateful for this house. Yes, I'd rather have the 3-bedroom, but I'm grateful for this one because I know a lot of people are living in the streets. They don't even have a house. Thank you, thank you, thank you for my vehicle. Yeah, I'd rather have this BMW or this Cadillac, but I'm grateful for this car because a lot of people, they're walking or taking the bus every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you for my health. A lot of people are in the hospital right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you for my job, my career, my income. A lot of people are making nothing, doing nothing right now. You need to be grateful, and you need to express the gratitude on a regular basis. I do it in the shower in the morning. First thing, I get in the shower, quite often I'll say, thank you, thank you, thank you for the hot water. My wife is from Colombia, South America, from a very poor family. They don't have hot water down there. They've never had hot water. I've offered to buy them a hot water heater and pay for it. No. We're used to the cold water. Of course, I go visit them at least once a year, if not more. And when I'm down there, yes, I do take showers. I get in the shower and I say, thank you for the water. Because come on, some people don't even have cold water. You need to express the gratitude on a regular basis. I do it with my loved ones. We get together at the dinner table and I ask my sons, what are you grateful for today? And we go around the table. By the way, if you've got ones that are, I'd say, 15 or younger, always throw this at the end of the question. What are you grateful for today that doesn't cost money? And you'll see some different answers come out of them. First time I asked my son that, he said, well, I'm grateful for the sun because it warms us. And my other son said, well, I'm grateful for the moon because it's so beautiful to look at night. And his little buddy that was over having dinner said, well, I'm grateful for having Camilo as my best friend. You never know what you're going to hear. But you need to get the people that are important to you in your life in the habit of being grateful. And you know what I found? I found that the more grateful you are sincerely, the more comes back to you. And that's pretty much the way the world works. I bet around this time you feel pumped up, you feel inspired, you're ready to take your life to the next level. But you know what? It's so easy to get stuck in what I call the comfort zone, where your old thinking takes over and you kind of slip back into your old ways and you never break through to that next level. So I want to introduce you to a way to really keep that motivation and energy going in your life. I'd like to introduce you to Seminar of the Month, which is an online service that sends you a brand new full-length seminar on video once every month. These feature world-famous speakers, the kind of people that you would pay $10,000 to $20,000 to come out and speak live for your group. For example, the first one that you would receive is Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul co-creator, $30,000 a day trainer, and he'll be teaching you his Peak Performance Principles seminar, which is loaded with ideas on how to build your self-esteem, increase your confidence, a lot of ideas on goal setting and achievement and overcoming negative programming. Very powerful program. After that, you'll receive Nurka on Supreme Influence. She is one of the best speakers I've ever seen. Really high energy. She really talks about the inner voice inside. She talks a lot about how our beliefs become our realities. She really gets inside and shows you how do you influence yourself and influence others. It's a very motivational program. After that, it is Brian Tracy on the Unbreakable Laws of Self-Confidence. Brian Tracy is an internationally sought-after author. He's one of my favorite speakers out there. He commands $25,000 a speech or more. He speaks all over the world. He's got best-selling books all over the place. He's one of the very best out there. And he's going to be doing a very powerful video for you on unbreakable laws of self-confidence. It will absolutely help you to take your life to the next level. He covers everything in there, from the law of attraction to the law of reciprocity, the law of acceptance, there's so many different laws he covers. It's like all the universal laws bundled into one training program. After that, one of my favorites, you'll get Bob Proctor on the science of getting rich. I mean, he is just a legend in this area, and he teaches the principles from the book Think and Grow Rich, and he'll go much deeper into how the subconscious mind works, how to achieve what you want, what's stopping you, where are the roadblocks. Very motivational, and again, you couldn't even touch one of his live seminars for under a couple of $100 to see him in person. Then after that, it's another one of my favorites, Les Brown, teaching the Les Brown story. He shares life lessons that are immeasurably powerful. I mean, they're literally life-changing ideas that will help you to completely go to your next level. Again, if you were to hire him to come in, it would be well over $15,000 to $20,000 a day. And he's also a best-selling author, top speaker. You'll love Les Brown. After that, you'll receive Mike Lipkin on conversation strategies. He comes from South Africa. He's got that South African accent, really captivating guy. Lots of great ideas. And then they go on and on. Every month you get another video. It's just a great way to keep yourself motivated. And what's great about the videos is that you can watch them with groups. You can have friends over, project it on a big screen TV. You can watch it on the go, on a laptop, anywhere there's an internet connection. That's all you need is an internet connection, and you can get on and watch these on-demand videos. The best part is the price. If you were going to go to seminars like this live, you'd spend hundreds of dollars. If you were going to our website, seminarsondvd.com, you'd spend $89.95 per video. However, through Seminar of the Month, we are able to bring the same powerful full-length seminars to you for just $9.99 a month with our personal plan. And the first month is only $1. So I'm suggesting that you take a try it out, invest $1 in yourself, get the full-length program of Jack Canfield, and I predict after watching that, your whole life is going to be on a new track. You're going to be more excited than ever. You're going to be ready to take everything up to the next level, and it will reinforce everything that we shared here today. On the following page are all the details. It's a really simple, there's no obligation. You're not locking yourself into anything. There's no contract. Try the first one for $1. If you don't love it, cancel right away. If you like it, do nothing, and every month, once a month, you'll receive a brand new video online. You'll get an email letting you know that it's been added to your online account, and we charge you just $9.99. It is the least expensive personal and professional development program that you're going to find out there, and the very highest caliber speakers in the world. You're going to love this program. It will transform your life. I personally use this all the time. I'm always absorbing the seminars, rewatching them again and again, and I can tell you that a lot of the principles I shared with you today came from these speakers, and I can tell you my life has gotten so much better, and I attribute that to the ideas and teachings that come from the programs in Seminar of the Month. So all you need to do is fill out the information on the page, get yourself enrolled, and then just make the time to watch one video a month. If you want to watch one a week, there's a way to upgrade to what we call a Personal Plus plan. It's just $99, and we unlock the first 12 programs. What a great value. You're not going to find anything out there like this of this caliber. And in fact, jump on the page right below. You'll be able to click on the button that says Previews and take a look at the clips of the speakers that you'll be receiving over the course of the year. This is the most fabulous program you're going to find. You're going to love it. It's going to transform your life. And I look forward to receiving feedback from you as you make breakthroughs in your life and you continue to rise higher and higher to live your ideal life, because you are someone who is not going to settle for mediocrity. I'm Michael Jeffries, and thank you for watching.